Hey, welcome to Unshaved. I'm Takesha, and this podcast came to be simply because I wanted to archive conversations between me and my mother. And because we talked about pursuing a creative project together for a long time now, I just figured starting a podcast would kind of fit the bill for both. Our lives and relationship have had many twists, turns, highs, and lows, and the way we've gotten through them always started with raw conversations. We're consistently pursuing a deeper understanding of not only each other and our relationship, but also of ourselves. If the topics and conversations explored in this space help you to navigate your journey in any way, then that's even better. So whether it's just myself or if I'm joined by my mom or other guests, you can expect content that is explorative, honest, and maybe even just a little bit outside the lines. Welcome to Unshaved. Thank you to those of you who have been listening in and have heard the first part of this 3-part conversation, as well as to those of you who are tuning in for the first time. I would recommend that you take a listen to the first part so that you can have a fuller understanding of the conversation moving forward to next week's part 3. In this conversation, my mother and we discussed the impact alcohol and drugs have had in our relationship. And next you're going to hear my mother talk about the way her recreational use of heroin turned into an actual addiction and how it led to her using crack cocaine. We also discuss ways my fears or efforts to help further enabled her in her addiction, even if that wasn't my intention.
This was my thought, but I don't know if that would have happened like that or not. I don't know if that would have helped me or not, but today I know that my parents did the best they could.
Of course.
It was me, because I think about it, I have siblings, although I always thought mine were the worst, I still have siblings that have similar situations that didn't go through this.
It's true.
So it was something in me, and I'm sure they got teased. Mm-hmm. I'm sure of it.
But you all didn't talk about it as a family?
No.
Okay.
No. And I'm saying, I used to tell myself, if it had been talked about, maybe I wouldn't have went through the things that I did.
To the extent.
Exactly. Because, especially the drugs. Because then I'm like, my other siblings, they didn't ever have that experience.
Drug issues.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Just me. So, it had to be, and I'm sure it had to do with my self-worth. Maybe kids weren't able to get to my other siblings like the kids got to me. I think I was that sensitive kid that just took everything to heart.
You are a very sensitive person.
Yeah, and that's what happened, and things just took on.
So you said that you didn't start to get sick or ill until after, I was born.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, is this when you were increasing your usage?
Increasing and doing it constantly, consistently, daily, every day, year in, year out, year in, year out. I didn't take a break. Before, I could do it almost 9-10 months. Take a break for maybe 8-9 months. And then go back.
But this didn't mean that it wasn't affecting you. So as a sober-minded person now, when you think about what your days were like when you were using heroin each day, even whether you were getting sick or not, you can see that there was a difference in how you were living in your days, right? Was there a do you feel like did you feel like you were operating at your best capacity using drugs every day, or did you feel, you know what I mean? Like, some people are functional in their addictions. We call it quote unquote functional.
Right. I thought I was functional to a point, and then I knew that I wasn't.
Okay. And how did you come to that?
Like making appointments, like or at my mom's birthday, my father's birthday, Christmas, like getting gifts, like everything wasn't centered in drugs at one point. I was doing other stuff too.
Okay.
And then it came a point where it was just all about drugs. Whatever money, it was all about drugs. And I never had any money left afterwards. It was all about the drugs. I wanted to do other stuff in my head and in my heart, but it never panned out like that. It was always the drugs first. I had to feel a certain way, and the only thing that could give me that was heroin, and I had to get that before I could do anything. Anything.
So, I feel like one of our conversations before, you stated that, even though you were, and just correct me if I'm wrong, even though you were still using, it became more painful than it was helpful, but you couldn't help but not to use it.
Exactly. You said it correct. It was very painful. Especially if I didn't get it. Very painful. I became sick. Physically sick. Throwing up.
But I'm specifically talking about when you were getting high. Like if you had access to the drugs, not necessarily when you were coming off of it, but like chasing the high. It's not the same. It's causing you more problems than it is giving you the whatever thrill or relaxation, whatever it was you were seeking from it. Was that a misunderstanding?
No. It wasn't a misunderstanding. But I think it's a misunderstanding as far as heroin, I believe, for me anyway. But I used a combination of drugs.
Oh, okay.
But it was that way with crack.
Okay.
Because with crack, it was like the first hit I felt, all after that was a chase.
Ah, okay.
But that's how I felt about that drug, crack. That's not the way I felt about heroin, because I could get a good shot of dope and I'd be good for, maybe till the next day.
Okay. And, crack. So, I remember growing up and legit thinking that you were sober. You know what I mean? Like, I remember in high school, it was a guy that I was dating who pulled me to the side and was like, Keisha, I think, I don't even know, like, I think he was just trying to be nice, kind of, because he knew how close I was with you, and that I knew that you had a history of drug use, but he knew that I was not consciously aware of the fact that you may have been using at that particular moment.
Oh, okay.
So he was trying to, like, break it to me.
Uh-huh.
And, I'm listening to him, and I'm like, what? Like, it's just like, Houston, we have a problem. You know what I mean? Like, Keisha, like, it's not what you think, kind of, mm-hmm. Right? I don't know. I was sheltered from a lot of the details. It wasn't until that point in my life, I think, that I really started to become hip to signs.
Okay.
Of drug use.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't...
Well, I didn't want it to be obvious to you.
Right, and no.
So I did a lot of hiding.
Yes. And so what I didn't see was like the swelling limbs and things like that. You know what I mean? And like, I was like, okay. I didn't see you nodding in and out. Like, well, until later, right? After I think at some point we had to really identify the fact that, yes, you were using drugs. Because after he told me that, you know what I mean? I'm sure I didn't just sit with it for a long time.
Right.
Oh, it's all good. I believe she's not. You know what I mean? It's like, hold on, why is he under the impression that this is the situation?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't remember the details of how we addressed it, but I don't remember my memory. I don't have an idea that you were dishonest if I approached you about it.
No, I tried not to be.
Do you happen to remember that time when you were hiding it? It was cool, like Keisha doesn't know, and then that point where it was like, damn it, she knows now. I've been trying to keep this away from her.
I don't remember when that moment was, but when I knew you knew, I had to come clean.
Mm-hmm.
You know, until then, yes, I hid it from you. I wanted to. A lot of times I would keep a bottle of liquor on the table so you would think I was just drinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, I knew you drank. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was doing both all times.
Both meaning heroin and drinking. But
yes.
Crack didn't come into the picture.
That was later on.
Later on.
Yes.
A lot later in a shorter period of time.
Yes, very short time.
Because after that, it was when you started to move into your recovery.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Crack
got me here.
Well,
seriously.
Oh, God.
Crack got me here. I had to do that.
Okay.
Because crack had me doing things heroin never did.
I'm sorry, but I just feel like...
But I'm serious.
No, I just thought about t-shirts. Like, I feel like Crack got me here. Like, I don't know. Pay me no mind. Go ahead.
It's cool. It's cool. Yeah. I didn't know what a pawn shop was until I started smoking crack. Yes.
You were pawning stuff?
Yes. Televisions. And I was doing good for a minute. I'd go get them out. You know, bring them back. Because would be bitching. You know, where the TV go? Blah, 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 blah. You know, so, and then it got to the point I stopped going to get it. Because the money I had to get more crack wouldn't allow me to get out what I pawned. So, that crack is...
Now, I don't think... So, okay, so let's just back up a little bit because I was aware of like the pills, things you were introduced to as a kid, you know, and heroin. I don't think I learned about crack until recovery.
Okay, because that wasn't a real long episode.
No, but it made sense though, because I remember that drug, like, looking at you was ghostly.
Yeah.
I was just like your appearance changed drastically.
Yes.
And so did your attitude. Like, I remember, and this is the thing, like, you know, there's just certain things you never want to see in life, right? There's just some things you never want to see. And I never wanted to see you in a certain situation, right? I remember having like these ideas in my mind, and I don't really know where they came from, but seeing someone, like if I was driving uptown, you know, was I living in Northwest at this time? Anyway, I was there a lot. So I don't know if I was living in Northwest at this time, but I was driving there a lot. So I was headed uptown. You know how after you come through the tunnel, you at the light, you about to cross over. Is that, I can't think of it.
Second and D.
Somewhere around there. But there's another street, starts with an M, if I'm not mistaken. Is it Minnesota? That's not, which street is that? M Street?
M Street?
Yeah. Starts with the M.
Yeah.
Okay, so crossing over there, like, and anyway, so just seeing people asking for money, like seeing people that you know, have signs about being homeless and stuff like that. I never wanted to see you on the street. I never wanted to see you on the street, and to that extent, I was trying to do anything that I could to prevent that from happening. I recall putting an apartment in my name because you had to move from one place. And I don't remember the circumstances, but it was housing. And this particular place wasn't housing, but you all could handle it. And so I found this apartment. I thought it was real nice, you know. It allowed me to, you know, she said, here's the money, you can furnish it how you want. I was like, I love this shop. You know what I mean? So I was fixing your apartment up and, you know, trying to make sure that you had the things that you needed in place. Buddy. So it's very interesting how this parallels, because I was at a point in my life, you know, where I was trying to really, I guess, discover me on some level. I don't know that I really knew that that's what it was, But I realized I had some things that I wanted to work on within myself, within my being, and also finding new practices, spiritual, guidance and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember did I just come from church? I feel like I just came from church. No, there was a call. I went to church. We were at brunch, some nice little place on U Street, I believe. And I got a call from T that there was a notice for me to go to court because you all had an eviction notice. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? I was on the phone in the restaurant and my world was crashing because I'm like, I ask them every month. I've been asking, is everything cool? We're good? Everybody was like, yeah. And I'm like, hold on. People don't just put an eviction notice on you. I went there. I was so livid. Ma. And I remember confronting you about it and your nonchalant attitude about it, which was very unlike you. I was seeing red. And I was so angered. And I knew I just had to leave.
Yeah.
I had to leave. And I couldn't believe how you just disregarded the efforts that I had tried to make sure that you were comfortable. I never seen, maybe drugs made you selfish to some degree, but I never saw it. Of course. But I when I say I never saw it to this degree. Selfish was, yes, you'd be gone for periods of time and things like that, right?
Was that drug crack you saw. Exactly. This was crack.
But when you were home, you were present, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that you would be gone. And those for other issues that we worked on and things like that. But specifically for this particular topic about the differences in what I saw in you, I had never seen you like this. I was just like, oh, she's in a different zone. Like, this is something completely different. Now, I didn't know that it was crack.
Right. But you knew it wasn't heroin.
No, I didn't think about it like that.
Okay.
I just thought that maybe you had gotten to another deeper and darker place with what you'd been doing.
Okay. I get it. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man. Now, did that cause us not to speak? Because you moved into another apartment down the street.
For about 9 months, I was in somebody else's place.
Before you moved into that other place?
Yes. Before I moved to Southwest. Yes.
This part is a blur for me.
Yes. It was me. It was, what's her,
okay.
He was, messing with this girl over by, what is the name of the place? Forestville.
No, maybe we probably...
Okay, I'm sorry, but anyway, I moved there.
Okay.
We moved there.
Okay.
And we stayed there for, I know, at least 9 months.
Now, where were you and I at this time? Because this is a little foggy for me.
We really weren't doing that much talking.
But we didn't have like this big out, right? It was just more or less distance?
Right.
Okay.
Right. And then the next move was the apartment in Southwest.
Now, I remember when I had gotten my apartment in Northwest,
mm-hmm.
you came and you helped me get it together.
Yeah.
Where were you living at that point? Were you in Southwest?
Yes. I was in both places. I was first in First Street. First Street was when you first got your apartment in Northwest.
Okay.
Okay. Then that
First Street was the apartment that I could put in my name?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it was like the end of, if I can remember it correctly. No, that couldn't have happened like that. It had to be, I was in Southwest.
Okay. Because
I remember we were talking and you was like so afraid to move. You was like, I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, I wasn't quite ready.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that I think you moved to First Street around May, and I moved to Northwest in July. Is that right? Oh, no. You were getting evicted in May, maybe.
I don't know. Something like that.
It was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But by the time I moved, we were speaking.
Yes.
You came over, you helped me.
Yeah. I helped you a lot of times.
Yeah, you were cleaning for me and making sure the police, like, I want to make sure your place is, all, though I'd lived on my own before, but it was with the husband. This time I was living by myself. Right. And you helped, and we joked about it because you were like, I would never go to my child's house and clean up.
I know it. I don't, yeah, exactly. I didn't know I would do it, but.
Yeah, you helped.
There I was.
Right. And I appreciate it. So, and I feel like we did that a few times, right? Dad, did we get thrown off here? So, trying to...
We do that a lot, though.
I know.
But we always come back full whole to wherever we was, I'm trying to think.
No, I was just saying that, like, I think that I was just talking about how you said crack got me here, and that's how... that's when I saw real changes in you.
Okay.
But I didn't know that's what you were going through until recovery.
Yes. Yeah. That crack had me in some places I've never even been before.
Man.
It didn't last too long. I think I did crack for maybe, was it quite a year?
Yeah, I don't know. So,
I'm not sure. I know it wasn't as long as I used heroin. Not even half the time. Not even.
It's just barely a fraction of it.
No, exactly. Maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years, no more.
And my thing was that I was trying to keep you from a bottom, and I realized that I really couldn't do that.
You're right. And yeah. And I'm glad you didn't. I needed to be where I was.
I appreciate that you made time to listen in to this episode of Unshaved. Thank you. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions for topics to explore, please email unshaved.podcast@gmail.com, and be sure to indicate if you'd want to be mentioned if your feedback or questions are addressed here on Unshaved. Also, you can show the show some love by following, sharing, and or donating. Last but not least, remember you can turn on your notifications so you'll know when we're back with new episodes. Till then, let's continue to live with love and light.